Is anyone surprised? By now, you should have gotten the report that this man right here, Tim Scott, dropped out of the presidential race. But you know what? I'm gonna let him tell it. I'm gonna let Tim Scott tell it. Fair use. DJ, spin that.
When I go back to Iowa, it will not be as a presidential candidate. I am suspending my campaign. I think the voters who are the most remarkable people on the planet have been really clear that they're telling me, not now, Tim. I don't think they're saying, Trey, no, but I do think they're saying not now. And so I'm going to respect the voters, and I'm going to hold on and keep working really hard, and look forward to another opportunity.
Okay, Timmy, let's get this out the way. You sitting up there talking about, oh, well, the voters didn't tell me no, but they just said not now. No, look, you could try to run for president in 2028, and guess what we're going to tell you? No. You could try to run again in 2032, and we're going to tell you no. You could try to run in 2036, and the answer is still going to be the same. Talk about not now. Not ever. What do you mean not now? Not ever. Now, True Raw and I tried to tell you that you wasted your time when you launched your campaign at your alma mater back in May. Now, for those of you who don't know where he went to college at, because I grew up in this clown's hometown. He went to Charleston Southern, the same college my brother went to. Albeit years apart, but he went to Charleston Southern University. It used to be called Baptist College until they renamed it in 1990. He tried to put on that cringeworthy dance performance over there when he launched his campaign. And back when you launched your campaign back in May, Too Raw and I tried to tell you that this was a bad idea, that you were wasting people's time, that you were wasting people's energy and people's money. I mean, what donor really saw Tim Scott as a presidential candidate? This man was polling at 1% the whole damn time. 1%. But how do we get here? How do we get to this? How do we get to this point where we at right now? Well, back in 2021, there was this event that Joe Biden put on. It was the address to the Congress. This was his first time addressing the Congress since taking the position as president of the United States. In that, the Republicans were trying to move away from the Donald Trump dynamic, right? The Mitch McConnell, because Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump are like bitter enemies. So they were trying to move away from the extremism and the and this black cloud that Donald Trump has casted over the Republican Party, especially after what happened on January 6th. So after Biden gave his address to the Congress, Tim Scott was being propped up by Mitch McConnell to be the guy that's going to lead the Republican Party into the future. The Republicans were looking to go younger. So they had Tim Scott. No, pardon me for a second. All right, I'm back. Apologize for the for that slight delay, but when Biden, hold on, oh damn it, when Biden gave his address to the Congress, and Tim Scott came out there and put out the most infamous quote. Tim Scott went out there and put out the most infamous quote about how America wasn't a racist country. Now, mind you, Tim Scott practiced the art of contradiction because Tim Scott talked about all the racism that happened to him. He talked about all the racism that happened to him. America is not a racist country. Remember that, Tim Scott? And then you got Kamala Harris and Leo Terrell backing him up on that stupidity. But fast forward all this, because he tried to put on this optimistic campaign and all that, and that, you know, we need to see the good in everybody and all that. Look, none of that worked. None of that worked. Then there was suspicion about him being gay. And this, I don't know where that came from. I don't know who first propped it up, but there was this rumor about Tim Scott being gay. Now, mind you, Captain Bucky O'Hare was never married, just like Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham never been married, don't have no kids, right? So there was this rumor going around about him being gay. And that's when Tim Scott suddenly, all of a sudden, found himself being black again, and we'll talk about the black plight, and you know, black people don't go through the thing as white people and all this stuff. But you were the same guy that said America wasn't a racist country. But that was Tim Scott's way of defending himself after that allegation came out of him being gay, right? So you fast forward that to questions about whether or not Tim Scott had a girlfriend, because you got to go all the way back to 1861 to find a president who was single. You got to go all the way back to 1861 to find the what's up, Josh Johnson, Ted Cox, Sean Ojiko, my man Reef, all up in the building, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, right? I apologize for being late. I really wanted to get out in front of this, but it is what it is. I'm gonna give my twist, my take on this thing. All these questions about Tim Scott, about whether or not he had a girlfriend and all that. Like I say, the last president who was single, you got to go all the way back to 1861. James Buchanan. James Buchanan was the last president who was single. Everybody else, they're married. So all these questions about whether or not Tim Scott had a girlfriend, I've done videos about that, right? About what she was and how she looked and what she did and all that stuff, right? Did a thorough breakdown. And I did that video on my birthday. Because ironically, Tim Scott's birthday was the day after mine. So once again, I asked this question, right? All the cameras that's running around out here, right? You got the paparazzi got cameras. We got people like me running around here with camera phones. You got drones flying now, recklessly, aimlessly everywhere with cameras and all that. Hell, you got Kitty, right? And I'm not talking about Dwight Howard's Kitty. No, I'm talking about actual cats that's running around here with cameras around their necks. Your smartphone is pretty much a tracking device. Hell, your car that you're driving is pretty much a tracking device. But nobody knows who Tim Scott. There's no spy photos. There's no leaked photos of Tim Scott and his girlfriend eating at a restaurant somewhere, or holding hands at a park, or attending a professional. Well, South Carolina don't have no professional sports, but they're not a South Carolina Stingrays game. They're not at a Charleston River Dogs game. They're not at a Chris Tucker concert, right? Nowhere could you find Tim Scott with his girlfriend's little boo thing running around. It's because he never had one. So at the third presidential debate, now you want to trot out this woman out of nowhere. You want to trot out Nancy Moss. Or Mindy, no, not Nat, Mindy No Say. Where I get Nancy from? I don't know where the hell I get Nancy from, but it's Mindy Nose. You want to trot her out? Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if her first name was Nancy. I thought Mindy would be like a goddamn alias, if you ask me. So let me get this straight. You thought that you could dispel all the rumors, that you could, quell all the noise about your relationship status by trotting out a white woman with 3 kids. Now you 58 years old with no kids, dating a 47-year-old woman, divorced with 3 kids. Come on now. Come on now. And somebody brought up the good point. I'm like, would they be acceptable? Would they accept? Because you know how racist this country is, Tim Scott. If you acknowledge at one point or another that this country was racist, right? Did you take into consideration of what her family would have thought had you came to their Sunday dinner? You're the only black guy in the whole goddamn house going to the Sunday dinner and all that. You ever took that into account? Probably not. You probably didn't take that into account. And then would her kids accept you if this, girlfriend was a real thing? I believe it's not. I believe you pay her. So how much you pay her, Tim Scott? Huh? How much you pay her? Did one of your campaign donors just, throw her out there for you to have a couple photo ops with and all that? You thought this was going to resonate with the voters and all that. You really thought this was going to... Look, Tim Scott joins the list of black Republicans who thought they could penetrate their way to the presidency, right? Whether it be Colin Powell, whether it be Alec Keys, whether it be Herman Cain, Larry Elder. Now you got this guy. Then last week, I got a kick out of Daniel Cameron, that Kentucky Fried Cool made from 11 Herbs and Spices. Yeah, that bastard lost his election campaign to become governor in Kentucky. So what's up with you black Republicans out here Becky chasing? What the fuck is up with that? What's up with that, Tim Scott? You mean to tell me they ain't a Shaniqua or Letitia or Sonia or Tamika? They ain't one of those black girls running around that you could have, held hands and broke bread with and read Bible verses on a random Tuesday? You had to go get a Becky. And then, when Tim Scott was in South Carolina, right? Tim Scott was, he grew up in my hometown. Tim Scott used to sell insurance. What you may not know about Tim Scott was the fact that Tim Scott was running around rubbing elbows with Strom Thurmond. Tim Scott was rubbing elbows with Strom Thurmond, and let him tell it, he was starstruck meeting guys like Jack Kemp and what's that other guy's name? You had a young Mark Sanford at the time, who was a rising star in the Republican Party. So yeah, that's who Tim Scott was out here associated with. And then we're confronted about that. People change. Yeah, Tim Scott, Strom Thurmond, who hate black people, don't mind sleeping with black women, but he hates black people. Yeah. Well, people change. No, people don't. People like that don't change. But that's who Tim Scott was rubbing elbows with. Motherfucker sold, I think he sold life insurance. I knew he sold insurance. I don't know if it was life insurance or car insurance, but I knew he sold insurance down in South Carolina. And he rose through the ranks in South Carolina politics before Nikki Haley appointed him senator when I can't remember the senator's name that stepped down. But yeah, Nikki Haley is the reason why Tim Scott's even in our face to begin with. Because at the time, Nikki Haley was the South Carolina governor. But anyway, didn't mean to go too far off the tracks, but the fact of the matter is, Tim Scott, you never had a snowball's chance in hell, right, of becoming the nominee, let alone president. You never had a snowball's chance in hell. You wasted everybody's time, effort, patience, and energy. I mean, you couldn't even make it to Iowa for crying out loud. Couldn't even make it to freaking Iowa. So no, I don't feel sorry for you, Tim Scott. Not at all. Not at all. We told you back then, Mushmouth, that you had no business running. We told you back then when you first launched this campaign that nobody cared about. Obviously, I cared about it because I'm talking about it. So obviously, I cared enough to talk about it. But still, you didn't have a snowball's chance in hell when you first launched your campaign. People out here saying that, oh man, you make a great vice president. You make a great vice president. Well, I didn't get in this race to become no vice president. Well, guess what? You don't got a choice in that matter. You don't got a choice in that matter. 1%. This whole time, 1%. The real reason why you dropped out the race is because you didn't qualify for the next debate. You didn't qualify for the next debate. So if you couldn't qualify to be in the next debate, what's the use of you continuing to run? So you go into bed at night talking about, oh man, I just wanted to be. I tell myself every night that I was gonna become president. Yeah. You went to bed thinking you become president, and then you woke up back to reality. That's like me riding around in a Benz to sleep, but when I woke up, I found myself riding in a Jeep, right? So this notion that you was gonna become president of the United States And you talk about, oh, well, the voters told me not now. No, the voters are telling you not ever. Ever. You're in South Carolina and you can't even get traction in South Carolina. And for those of you that follow my channel for any length of time, if I always say this about a candidate, right? If you really want to know how this guy does on a national level, look at what the voters are saying about him in his own state. So if he's carrying like massive weight in his own state, then there's a good chance that he could branch out. But if he was like Camel Toe, right? Matter of fact, you would just like Camel Toe because y'all can't even carry weight in your own damn state. Kamala Harris couldn't even carry 10% of the vote in California. You got Tim Scott here, couldn't even carry 10% of the vote in South Carolina. But hey, and I remember, man, Tim Scott, man, look, it ain't all bad, dog. You know what I'm saying? Look, you can still become senator, right? And you can still, be at the whims of Lindsey Graham when he's getting hog-tied and fucked and whipped like a pig on Saturday night at the Hyatt. Right? And then you can serve him his whole bucket of goddamn Bojangles in the process. While he being hog-tied, whipped, fucked with an apple in his mouth. Dominatrix style. Saturday night, the presidential suite at the Hyatt. Anyway. But yeah, man, Tim Scott, you down bad, bro. You down bad. I don't feel nothing for you, bro. I feel absolutely nothing for you, bro. I wish I could play some music, but YouTube will sit up there and say that, oh, well, you're out here violating copyright. We're going to block your video. So, no, I would like to say, celebrate good times. Come on. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Which one you want? I mean, the only person that didn't know that they wasn't going to become president was Tim Scott. That's the only person that didn't know that they wasn't going to become president. Oh, na 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 na. Hey, 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 goodbye. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way. Hey, Tim Scott, hey, I got a question, right? I got a question. Hey, so that girlfriend, right? And I do put that word girlfriend in quotation marks, right? That girlfriend you had that you pumped up on stage, right? Looking like a Charlotte Flair knockoff, right? Mindy Noss, looking like a Charlotte Flair stunt double, right? Let me ask you something. Y'all gonna break up now? Huh? Y'all gonna break up? Y'all know that you're not gonna take her to Oak Steakhouse and have that, that seared tuna, right? Huh? You're not gonna take her to Oak Steakhouse for dinner tonight? Huh? Oh, well, you ain't got. Well, you don't want to get caught up on campaign finance violations and all that. So maybe you might take her to, like, I don't know, Outback or some shit. Huh? Where you taking your girlfriend Mindy at? Huh? Or she don't got no more use for you, so she gonna go back to what she did and what she does best, and that's interior design. Huh? That what it is, Tim Scott? Hey man, look, go back to your Christian values, right? Go back to being that single man who don't get no ass and just, fade back into obscurity, okay? You said Texas Roadhouse? You said Texas Roadhouse. You said TGI. You said TGI Fridays. Is TGI Fridays still a thing? Who still goes to TGI Fridays? I mean, yuck. Boy, the money have fallen going to TGI Fridays, man. Anyway, yeah, man, that shit. Go back to being the Republican Party whipping boy, right? That's what you do best. That's what you do best, Tim Scott. You are best at being the Republican Party whipping boy. Let me see them Kunta Kinte scars and shit. All the whoops you got on your back for being the Republican Party whipping boy. Let's see them, Tim Scott. So that girlfriend you had, was she like a did you treat her like how I treat a rental car when I buy from Avis and shit? Huh? Huh? Where you going? Where you and your girlfriend going at? Y'all gonna break up now? Cause I'm still waiting on that report. I'm gonna wait on the report sometime this week that Tim Scott and his girlfriend or his little boo thing didn't see eye to eye. In the interest of the Lord, we're going to go our separate ways. Tim Scott, this God-fearing individual, right? Why you don't lie on your dick? Right? There's one thing. I mean, people tell lies all the time, right? I'm just as guilty as the next person for telling lies, because I'm not gonna act all holy and to die in this bitch, right? But let's just be honest. Don't lie on your dick, right? You've been this God-fearing virgin your whole entire fucking life. Now all of a sudden, you out here on the prowl like a real tiger. You out here knocking down Becky's on Saturday night. Y'all can go out to dinner and a movie, right? No cameras, right? Because that leads to another thing, right? That leads to another point. So you mean to tell me that closed-circuit television, now closed-circuit television been around longer than I've been alive, right? So closed-circuit television busted Lauren Boebert and her little boo thing grabbing dick and vaping and carrying on at goddamn at a Beetlejuice play, right? And you had camera footage follow her out of the theater into the lobby, out the establishment, and down the street to whatever hotel they was gonna go out later on that night to engage in some bound chicken wow, right? But we don't know who your girlfriend is. We never seen you and your girlfriend, I put girlfriend in quotation marks, at a Cheesecake Factory or at a defunct Toys R Us building, right? Because when you was out there with Mindy, that Charlotte Flair stunt double, y'all were holding hands outside Toys R Us, right? That same old condemned Toys R Us building, right? And you was talking about all that back in the day. This is where I bought my Nintendo at, and all this other stuff. We have no pictures outside of that photo up we had at the Republican National Convention or Republican National Debate. That's the only photos we got with Tim Scott and Mindy. Then you go to this girl's Instagram timeline, not one picture of her and Tim Scott together. All those photos of her interior design, she's out here probably with her white co-workers and her white friends and all that. Not one photo with Tim Scott at some interior design event. Not one. Not one. But you want us to believe that y'all were so blissfully in love and y'all been dating for like a year. With all this paparazzi running around, with all these cameras running around here, nobody had a photo with Tim Scott. Nobody had a leaked photo with Tim Scott with this girl. So, hey, so y'all gonna break up, huh? or y'all gonna get married? You gonna decide that, you know what? I'm gonna take this leap of faith and I'm gonna marry Mindy No Say. Yeah, I'll give it a couple weeks before we get some, Post and Courier article about Tim Scott and his quote unquote girlfriend breaking up. You did all that for nothing. That's the thing that really got under my skin. You did all that for nothing. All the interviews that you did on goddamn on The View when you was going at it with Sonny Hoiston, all the traveling, the smiling, shaking hands, kissing babies, and all that, right? Ain't no telling where those fucking hands been at. All that campaigning, all that, well, if I become president, I'll go ahead and pardon Donald Trump. Who told you to say that? Who propped up a battery in your back and turned the remote control to say that? So I don't feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for you at all. And Two Raw talked about this the other day. We were talking about this the other day about whether or not Tim Scott would be a vice president, and early indications showed that he is like one of the favorites to become Trump's vice president, or Trump's little stooge, or his do boy. Because look, Trump got this thing to where he treats the presidency like how he treats his businesses. So Tim Scott, you can become Trump vice president in your own peril, right? But you just be not more than a goddamn stooge, parroting all of Trump's talking points. Well, there you have it. There you have it. So you guys let me know what y'all think about this. When I go to Iowa next time I go to Iowa, it will not be as a presidential candidate. No shit. Exactly, Ted. He definitely would be a goddamn stooge like Ben Carson. What's up? What's up, Big Wash? Hey, Big Wash. Hey, man, this call for a celebration, man. You know what I'm saying? This buck dancing sellout ain't gonna become president. I don't know what's going on in the state of South Carolina, man, but the state of South Carolina has some of the biggest coons, buck dancers, shoe shuffling sambos, corn shucking ass wipes out there in the on the East Coast. Would have been Tim Scott, old nigga Jim Clyburn, because we both grew up in that Bama district. We both grew up in old nigga Jim Clyburn's district. You got him, you got Bakari Sellers, or Bakari Sellout, who's married to Vince Carter's ex-wife. Then you got this clown. But yeah, man, you guys let me know what y'all think about this. I take great pleasure and great glee in the knowing that this clown, the modern day Goldilocks, will not become president of the United States. Now, if you're not a subscriber to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platform. Hey, man, so, you gonna put your industry plant back now, Tim Scott? Huh? You gonna put your industry plant back, or you gonna try to ride this thing out till the cows come home? Yeah, big one. Hey, celebrate good times. Come on! Yeah. Hey, man, where do you buck dancers learn, man? All you guys in the Republican Party that's supposed to be black, right? When y'all gonna learn that these Republicans don't give a fuck about y'all? The power structure, the powers that be, right, that prop y'all up and shit. When y'all gonna learn that they don't care about you? Huh? When y'all gonna learn? Or is it too far, so far gone? That's what I want to say. Sorry, I'm getting tongue twisted. Is it so far gone to the point now you guys ain't gonna never learn? Huh? And when you said that this was gonna be your last time running for Senate, he just got reelected last year. He just got reelected last year for Senate. So, you sure this could be your last go around as a senator, Tim Scott? Huh? You sure this could be your last go around as senator, right? You don't want to go to Strom Thurmond route because that's who you hit your wagons to. When you was an up and coming political figure, you was hitching your wagons to Strom Thurmond. You don't want to do the Strom Thurmond route and literally die in the Senate? What's up, Kevin Wedderburn? I appreciate that. He couldn't even make it to Iowa. Couldn't even make. So you mean to tell me Nikki Haley? Nikki Haley made it to the Iowa caucus before you, Tim Scott? Mm-mm-mm. And you will sit there talking about, well, the voters are telling me not now. No, the voters are telling you not ever. Oh, that's another song. Never going to get it, never going to get it, never going to get it, never going to get it. Right? I'm channeling my En Vogue today. Because you never going to get it. Just like that white pussy that you paraded around here at the stage last week. You was never going to get that presidency, and like I said, you never going to get that white pussy. That white pussy was contingent on you securing the nomination. That's right. As soon as you got that nomination, then Mindy was going to let you take her to Pound Town. But you can forget that. Mindy ain't going to let you take her to Pound Town. You out there chasing interracial sexual access like Daniel Cameron. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, shouts out to the LDBC, man, for real. Oh, wow. Yep. I mean, I could go on and on, Tim Scott, but I ain't got that kind of time. I mean, I'll let you and Mindy, well, that provided Mindy ain't left you already, right? Right. You can't get no, they ain't gonna vote for me if I had an arm. I can't do that. I can't be no Republican. That damn sure can't be no Democrat. Fuck that. Fuck that. I got my own dick and nuts. I'm gonna run as an independent if I run for anything. If I run for anything, I'll be independent. They don't want me. They don't want a guy like me in their little thing. I'll go in there to corrupt all that shit. Fuck that. I can't bring myself to be no buck dancer sellout like Tim Scott. Can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. So I'm out of here, y'all. Y'all have a good day. This your man. Scream at me. Hey!